What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Don't Cut It, and I'm back again with another one. I need you guys to do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon for more videos like this. That being said, let's get into it. Floyd Mayweather finally crowns Terence Crawford as the best fighter in all of boxing. I remember in one of the interviews he did, he said he wanted to see Terence Crawford fight David Benavidez. I was like, whoa. Mayweather, are you setting the guy? You want to see the guy lose that bad? David Benavidez is a big guy. He's a huge guy. We know size don't win fights, skills do. But David Benavidez, that dude's like a heavyweight who's fighting at these little weight classes. We all know that for a fact. He had to come down in weight to make 168. But anyway, so when Mayweather said that, everybody hated on Mayweather for saying that. Even I didn't like Mayweather saying something like that. Why do he need to fight David Benavidez when David Benavidez was at 168? He says Crawford needs to fight David Benavidez to get a Canelo fight. You know, it's ridiculous for Floyd Mayweather saying something like that. But, you know, Crawford only wanted to fight Canelo Alvarez because Canelo Alvarez stepped on Bud Crawford's toes. Bud Crawford wanted to leave his mark in the sport of boxing by becoming the first person to become 3-time undisputed in 3 different weight classes. And that's what Bud Crawford would try to do after he fought Earl Spence. He made it pretty clear. He says, after I fight Earl Spence, I'm going for his cheerleader, Jermell Charlo. Some way, somehow, Canelo intervened and messed with Bud Crawford's resume. He messed with Bud Crawford history. So now Canelo must be part of Bud Crawford history because he put his nose where it should have never been. You know, he played Karen in this situation. You guys know what a Karen is? Somebody that don't mind their business. Canelo had no business fighting a guy like Jermell Charlo. That was Bud Crawford's legacy fight to become 3-time undisputed. If Charlo would have never fought Canelo Alvarez, Charlo would have had to fight Bud Crawford for 3-time undisputed. And that was the problem. Canelo stepped on Bud Crawford's toes by fighting Jermell Charlo. It is what it is. Moving forward, Floyd Mayweather finally gives Terence Crawford his credit. He says Terence Crawford is the best fighter in all of boxing. He says Terence Crawford is the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. Was he forced to do that? Because in a recent interview where Floyd Mayweather was saying Crawford is the best fighter in boxing, they actually asked him about a feud between his former fighter. I don't know if he still promotes the guy. You know, it's an on and off relationship with him and Gervonta Davis. So we don't know for sure. So in a recent interview, they asked him, they said, what do you think about Gervonta Davis disrespecting Terence Crawford's family? And Floyd Mayweather completely ignored what the reporter said and went straight to saying Terence Crawford is the best fighter in boxing. So, listen, we know Floyd Mayweather. It's hard for Floyd Mayweather to truly give a guy credit. So whether or not he's being genuine, the fact is he mentioned it. And he says that's the best fighter in boxing. So maybe he is being genuine, but at the end of the day, at least he recognizes this is the guy of boxing. Now, I remember in an interview actually from Bud Crawford, he says, Bud Crawford, if you guys don't remember, Bud Crawford does a lot of interviews. Bud Crawford said in one of his interviews, he said, I was the guy they said was supposed to be the next guy after Floyd Mayweather. Did y'all remember Bud Crawford saying that? He said, I was the guy they said was supposed to be the next guy after Floyd Mayweather. I remember Crawford saying that too. He was actually going back and forth with Charlo. He was like, Charlo, who the freak are you? Because Charlo did an interview. It was like, Crawford needs to humble himself. It's different at 154. You come to 154, it's a different ball game. You can't come to 154 thinking you could do what you're doing at 147 with these small guys. You come to 147. You come to 154, it's a different story. You're a small guy. You're lying on ass. You came from 135. When we all heard rumors of Earl Spence, who is a 147-pound fighter, actually we heard rumors of Earl Spence stopping Jermell Charlo and sparring. I don't think a lot of you guys follow the sport of boxing. Now, Jermell Charlo is talking about a 147-pound fighter, but he's getting stopped by a 147-pound fighter in sparring. And Earl Spence, who we all seen recently get embarrassed by the guy who Jermell Charlo was saying, if you come to 154, it's a different ball game. So, Jermell Charlo embarrassed himself. One thing we gotta agree on when it comes to the sport of boxing, there's levels when it comes to the sport of boxing. There's levels from good fighters and great fighters. The great fighters are the ones on the pound for pound list. Those are the generational type talent. Because it's hard to crack that pound for pound list. You have to do a lot to get on that top 10 pound for pound list. It's not just a mythical list like a lot of people would like to say. You have to put in a body of work to crack that pound for pound list. Even Jermall Charlo, the guy became undisputed, but was still, unfortunately, unable to crack that top 10 pound for pound list. Which means the guys that vote for that pound for pound list didn't believe Jermall Charlo was skilled enough to crack the top 10 pound for pound list, even being undisputed. They were literally saying the 154 pound division at the time when Jermall Charlo became undisputed was a weak division. So Jermall Charlo couldn't even crack that 154 pound. He couldn't crack that pound for pound list. It's ridiculous. Honestly, because the fights we wanted to see at 154 never happened. We wanted to see Jermall Charlo fight against what's his name? Jarrett Hurd. That was the fight we wanted to see. We wanted to see Jermall Charlo fight against Erislandy Lara. He never fought those guys. He never fought the guys we wanted to see him fight. He fought guys like freaking Brian Castaños. Nobody wanted to see, I'm not saying Brian Castaños isn't a good fight, but we wanted to see him fight guys we knew. He fought Brian Castaño to become undisputed. That's not the fight we wanted to see for undisputed. The fight we wanted to see for undisputed, this is why marinating is bad for the sport of boxing. The fight we wanted to see for undisputed wasn't Jermall Charlo versus Brian Castaño. It was a fight against Jermall Charlo versus Jarrett Hurd when Jarrett Hurd was undefeated and was doing his thing. Both guys at the peak of their career. Jermall Charlo didn't want to go into negotiation with Jarrett Hurd and make the fight happen for undisputed. Jarrett Hurd had, I believe, 3 belts, and Jermall Charlo had 1 of them. Instead, Jarrett Hurd fought, what's his name from Philly? J-Rock. He fought my guy J-Rock from Philly, and he lost the belts, and J-Rock fought Banana. J-Rock lost the belts to Banana, and then Jermall Charlo fought Banana, and he took the belts from Banana. Right? There was still one more belt out there, and that belt, Brian Castaño got that belt from, what's his name? Patrick Teixeira? Yeah. Jermall Charlo beat Brian Castaño, who Brian Castaño beat Patrick Teixeira, or whatever the guy's name is. Anyway, Bud Crawford is a different type of animal. And Floyd Mayweather finally acknowledges Bud Crawford. Whether or not he's being genuine, the fact is he acknowledged the man, and he puts him as the best fighter in all of boxing. So we got to give Floyd Mayweather some props. Because Floyd Mayweather, when he talks, he always say, I'm still the face of boxing. For him to humble himself and put Bud Crawford as number 1 in the sport right now, as the best fighter in the sport, it says a lot. It shows that Floyd Mayweather has a lot of respect for Bud Crawford. And he knows Bud Crawford is about to make a history when he fights this guy, Canelo Alvarez, in September. And there can't be no excuses because Canelo's in his prime. It's your boy, No Credit. I'm out.